Hello friends, it's Dino. I hope you're well. I hope you're hydrated. Let's talk about the Cenobite. If you haven't heard, Dead by Daylight introduced their newest killer to the roster, and it's none other than Pinhead, one of the iconic Cenobites from the Hellraiser series, and I'm in love. Okay, love might be strong word for it, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time in the PTB playing as and against Pinhead. That's not to say he's perfect. I do believe there are some opportunities in his powers, but overall, I really feel like BHVR knocked it out of the park on this one, giving us a well-designed killer with a unique power that offers like much needed map pressure, but also interesting chase mechanics. So the Cenobite is your standard 115% killer with 32 meter terror radius. His primary power is Summons of Pain, which can be used in chase to slow a survivor down at a loop, or even as an information tool to check on a faraway gen. As killer, it takes a little practice to learn how to control, but it's not impossible. And as a survivor, it's incredibly fun to dodge, but it doesn't feel oppressive when caught either. The only downside is that it's not very useful long distance, so trying to hold a survivor in place far away will almost never let you catch up. And honestly, I think that's okay. I think it works fine as an anti-loot mechanic. The chains can be very easy to break, so I'm curious if that'll ever be buffed slightly in the future, but where it's at right now, I think it's fine. But then there's the Chain Hunt, which is an event that happens so long as a survivor isn't holding the Lament configuration, which is the box that survivors can see the aura around the map, save for one add-on that the Cenobite has. It starts passively via a timer on the survivor icons, or whenever the Cenobite finds the box or downs a survivor carrying the box. And I really like the Chain Hunt. During this time, survivors are harassed by portals, shooting chains at them. They're incredibly easy to break and dodge, but by doing so, you can't really do objectives. It forces survivors to go for the box and slows gens down, but not to like an oppressive level either. Honestly, the only issue I have with this mechanic is that kind of like when we first got the twins, one survivor can just go grab the box at the start of the match and hold it hostage. So when the twins first came out, if Victor pounced on someone, that survivor just didn't throw Victor off. They just ran around the map with him on. And somebody can do that now with the box. It'll prevent the chain hunt from beginning at all. The timer just completely stops. I do think that BHVR did think of this as a problem because there is kind of a downside. The survivor who's holding the box does get harassed by chains until they solve the configuration, so they can do objectives, but they're interrupted very frequently and making them a lot slower at it. If they're in chase, then they don't have this issue, but they are oblivious the entire time that they're holding the box. There is also the added risk that if they go down, the Cenobite will immediately start a chain hunt against their teammates and also be notified of their locations through a scream. Do I think that's enough? No, not at all. I think either the Lament configuration needs a respawn mechanic after being held too long, or there needs to be even more risk. Whether that's their aura revealed, exposed status effect, more frequent passive chains. I think respawning the box is the easiest and best solution, but there definitely needs to be just something more. Overall though, with first impressions, I really liked Pinhead. Like I said at the beginning, he's been incredibly fun to play as and against. The design of his power and abilities is very unique but also familiar to other killers, so it's not difficult to grasp. I think with very few minor changes, he could be an incredible killer on DBD's roster, and that's saying a lot because I don't think we've had a killer that felt this good in PTB for a very long time. I think the closest is potentially Blight, but PTB Blight was terrible. It was only after a couple changes that we got a killer with a very unique, very creative, very fun power. and that's been a year ago. So, yeah. I think it's about time, but I am glad that we're getting the Cenobite. First impressions overall, he's great. I definitely am going to buy the chapter immediately when it comes out, which should be in September. Fingers crossed, there's just no release date yet. And if you guys buy the chapter as well, I hope you have just as much fun playing as the Cenobite, and whether or not you buy it, I hope you have a blast playing against the Cenobite. But I will see you guys later in the fog, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye!